Maddie, would you like to say something, please? So I can get your audio levels.
Just sip on that water. Drink on
It's
that water.
just water. It's just water. Just water. Do. Water. Hey, it's just water. Hey, it's just water.
Hey.
It's just water.
Hey.
It's just water. I forget how the rest of the song goes. It's just water. Okay.
Yeah.
Hi, Maddie.
Hi, Sam. How
I
you
was
doing?
trying to do like the
AA.
yeah.
Oh,
You gotta hang it a little.
Yeah.
Hi, Maddie.
Hi, Maddie.
Like you're not. You don't want to be there. That's the whole point of it.
well, let me start it over then. Hi, my name is Maddie, and I am on my 5-day recovery from being sick.
Hi, Maddie.
Oh, hey, you made it to our ad portion of the video where this video is sponsored by you and people like you on Patreon. Whatever you want to do, however you support us, even if it's just liking, subscribing, and even commenting or sharing on this video or any of our others, we really appreciate it. Also, for our audio listeners, we're now on Spotify, so make sure to check us out if you'd like to. Thank you so much, and let's get back to the video. Hi.
That's AA. Yeah, that was good. That was good.
Yeah.
Benito.
Speaking of nothing of AA, pregnancy.
No, that segue was crazy. That segue was crazy.
Was it? Was it a little crazy?
In a not good way. I want that to be clarified. It wasn't good.
Well, I mean, let's just move on to the stories and
Okay.
let's start off with the first one.
Wait.
Okay.
This is the second. I feel like this is the second episode. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the cover.
Oh yeah, that should be. You guys didn't even know where you were this whole time. That's where you are.
Yeah, we are at an
We're in the
AA. Where are we at?
comfort level
Yeah.
AA meeting.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Comfort Level Podcast. I'm Maddie, and I'm here with
Brandon.
Sam.
So we're talking about pregnancy for whatever
Oh.
reason. If anything, it should be Christmas stories. But how's your guys' December going? Pretty good.
Oh, it's a great December.
Great December.
Yeah, I do remember a little Virgin Mary who got pregnant with a little guy that we all know as
He had a little guy.
Jesus Cristo.
Oh,
You know what I'm saying?
I like how you said that.
Yeah,
that was really
yeah,
nice.
yeah.
Jesus Cristo. Yeah.
Jesus Cristo.
Cristo, man. Iglesia de Jesus. You know?
I like how you added an O at the end.
I don't actually know Spanish.
You know Spanish.
I do know Spanish. I'll be speaking Spanish.
Speaking of Duolingo, I almost lost my streak twice. It was I had 2 freezes like set up where if I don't do it within 24 hours, I have a chance to get it back. I had 2 of them. I missed it, and then I got like back on it, and then the next day, so it was like miss, boom, miss, and I'm like,
why don't you just do it in the morning?
I never freeze.
He never flees.
Cristo.
I just started Japanese because the Japan trip is back on.
Hey.
When are you going?
In May.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, May.
Do you know that we're going on a cruise in May?
You're going?
Graduation cruise.
Graduation cruise.
I thought it was sooner. Oh, this is a different cruise?
Yeah,
Oh, y'all be cruising.
we do be cruising.
No, y'all be cruising. That's not even no joke. Y'all do be straight cruising.
Hey.
You know?
They don't let you do that.
No, they let me drive the boat.
They don't let you drive the boat.
They let me drive the
They
boat.
don't let you drive
I swear
the
they
boat.
did. They going to.
They're not gonna let you. You're not qualified to drive the boat.
I graduated, so.
Oh, that's true. No,
That's all you need.
Yeah, I forgot.
To drive a, multi-billion-dollar boat,
No experience. Just
No
graduate.
experience.
Just graduate.
Just vibes.
Even people who are qualified have crashed boats onto shores.
What they say? If you're educated, it leads you through doors. I just happen to walk through the door that controls a cruise ship.
That's illegal. That's not what that's saying.
They're gonna let me do it.
That's not what that's saying.
I'm
means.
literally
Doesn't mean you can just
educated.
walk into any door and just do the thing inside the door.
Why not?
Actually, that's fair. I don't know why. I don't have a reason to give Like, okay, let him drive the boat then.
He's educated.
You know, he's educated, man. Got a degree.
I tried at the last second to switch it to cruise, but I couldn't find any top cruise stories. So, pregnant.
Let's say one of our cruise stories, and we should do from when we went on a cruise.
But
We
okay,
should tell a hypothetical story about someone on the boat, and are they an asshole for what happened?
okay, I have a story. You ready for story number 1?
Yeah.
Am I the no? I'm just kidding.
She just fully from there.
I got a story today. No.
It's a listener write-in.
Yeah.
Okay, so can we get on topic,
Yes,
please?
let's do it.
It's a reader write-in. I'm sorry.
Would I be the asshole if I asked my pregnant wife to move out because she and her best friend decided to test my loyalty?
Oh my God.
Am I that's for telling my pregnant wife to move out?
Because her and her best friend decided to test my loyalty.
No.
Yeah, you can't move out.
Whoa.
You can?
You can't.
Oh, okay.
You got her pregnant. You can't.
Okay.
Even though I know exactly that's crazy that she did that, but hey, you're married and you got her pregnant. You can't go nowhere. That's it, buddy.
That's just gonna be a hard conversation, but like, don't kick her out.
But now I want to hear what she did because I know it sounds foul.
That's horrible.
Okay. Would I be the asshole if I asked my pregnant wife to move out because she and her best friend decided to test my loyalty? My wife is pregnant with our daughter. Initially, we were really happy and excited about it. But then she starts acting like a nut job. She gets angry and irritated for small things, insults me when she doesn't like the food I make, starts acting insecure, and accuses me of losing attraction for her. For example, she wanted to eat chicken sandwiches for dinner last night. Well, I made chicken sandwiches, so she eats all the sandwiches, leaves me nothing, and told me that they tasted like shit. I wasn't pissed because she left me nothing, but if she didn't like them, why did she have to eat everything? When I asked her this, she told me that she was hungry. Okay, fine. So she does this every time. Eats everything I make and calls it shit. I don't argue with her because I work for more than 80 hours a week and I really want to have some peace when I'm home. So yesterday, a random girl starts flirting with me after the gym and asked me if I want to meet up with her for some drinks. I rejected and told her that I was married, and when I got home, my wife started to hug me and apologize. When I asked her what happened, she told me that her best friend suggested a test for my loyalty. So they asked a mutual friend to flirt with me and ask me out, and I passed. Yay! I'm really pissed, and I'm done with her antics. Would I be the asshole if I asked her to move out?
I think the thing that makes it tough, but not necessarily right. Like, okay, when you're pregnant, like, you know, your hormones and stuff are all over the place, I guess, or so I've heard. My mom, she's like closed the shop a long time ago. I don't really like, you know, have a connection with a lot of pregnant people, so it's like I don't know but it's like when you're pregnant, you start. I heard you like can be very emotional, do stuff out of character sometimes, but it's like at a certain point you can't blame that on the pregnancy, like, you know, like.
I've heard that you kind of actually low-key can. Like, not to say that your actions are completely just. She's being really mean. And I'm going to say I agree with what the consensus was that he's the asshole, but I think everybody sucks. Because I don't know why she's being so rude to him. Because I can get where she's like, okay, I'm really hungry and I'm going to eat everything. And my emotions are really heightened and I'm upset about everything, but I don't think the way she was treating him was okay. Yeah. I wasn't trying to say like she can call him a asshole. No. Yeah. I'm just saying though her emotions are heightened. And I feel like to a certain extent, who knows? Because who knows like when it's time for me to have a baby, how much control I'm gonna have over my emotions.
She's just making this as an excuse. Maddie's trying to slow roll before she gets pregnant, so she's like when she like tries to stab, they're like ah. No. Remember that podcast where I said it's probably gonna happen? I will stab somebody.
No, I'm just trying to make the excuse of like 3 a.m, like I have a serious craving for grilled cheese. Like, can you get up and make me some grilled cheese? That's kind of where I'm at.
Yeah.
Trying to lay that down.
Yeah.
But definitely not like me eating all the grilled cheese and then being like, Brandon, that was the most disgusting grilled cheese.
Yeah.
Every single time. So disrespectful.
Yeah.
Him putting the time in to make that for you, and then that's your response.
And then eat all the sandwiches and then turn
Leave him
around and
nothing?
say it was all trash.
That's garbage.
That's wild. But I think that was the point I was making pretty much. Just like how, like, I don't necessarily know to what extent you can blame, like, oh, you're acting this way because you're pregnant, you know? And it's like, well, that was tough. That was point A. But point B, it's like, if you did that whole ploy just to see if he was going to cheat, you're insane. You're literally playing chess.
Women are doing that trick though. I wouldn't say common. I don't think all women are out here testing their, I'm like, I've heard that before. I've heard people I know do that before. So I'm like,
people you know have done that?
Yes.
Did it turn out bad?
No.
Oh, okay.
For me, I'm sorry, I'm just laughing at myself because I was so focused on the fact that I'm trying to set up the grilled cheese in the future that I'm like, oh yeah, the second part of that story was he tried to get some girl to say yes to him. I was like, that happened. This is the same story.
Yeah, that's the same story.
The same story. Brandon, this grilled cheese though.
The grilled cheese. Because I think I've had more experiences with pregnant people than you.
Yes, probably.
And actually, I have a situation now where my friend is pregnant, and we've gotten into a huge fight. And I think some of it is because of our distance between her. She's in another state, but also because I know her emotions from pregnancy are not having her think as rationally as she could. So things we probably could have talked about, we can't really talk about because of the emotional state she's in. So I'm like, I do 100% think, I'm like, yeah, when you're pregnant, you just got a lot of things going on at one time. But having been around a lot of pregnant people, that's happening, but they also have control over their actions at a certain point. They still should be held accountable.
Yes, I agree.
If everybody in Reddit was saying he was an asshole, I think how he wrote it maybe seemed assholish, but I don't think he actually is. I think he's the asshole for trying to kick her out. I guess that part is the assholeish thing.
Mm-hmm.
My thing is, I'm like, you just got to have the baby and then hope it gets better and then talk about it after. It's just probably not going to be fixed while she's pregnant.
Well, also, let me say in the beginning, the way that he's talking about his wife is disrespectful. He says, initially we were really happy and excited about it, but then she starts acting like a nut job. She gets angry and irritated for small things, insults me when she doesn't like the food I make, starts acting insecure, and accuses me of losing attraction for her. So some of that is valid, but calling your wife a nut job is not a good place to start when you're trying to get like points from Reddit, I feel like. Because if I read that, I'd be like, oh, you are the asshole. Why are you talking about your wife like that?
Yeah.
But there are some valid points, like
that's probably good too, because he probably doesn't have a lot of experience with pregnant women and doesn't realize the changes that can be made. Like a lot of people don't know. Mm-hmm. So that part, he is the asshole. And like, hey, this is the wife. This is the mother of your kid. You gotta have some grace. She's gonna be an asshole. That sucks. Ride it through.
I also feel like this is probably a younger couple because of the way, well, A, how he started it, but then B, his solution was to kick her out. Like, there's so many other, like, and I also think it was probably, her actions are probably more of a shock to him than it was like, oh, she's just being crazy right now. Like, because it's like, well, he says that in the beginning, and then his first reaction is, I'm kicking her out. Like, he's not thinking rational throughout that whole process. Mm-hmm. Calling her a nut job, saying all this stuff, let's kick her out. Never once does it occur, like, maybe we should get your parents involved, or if there is parents, or maybe someone else, or maybe counseling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was straight A to Z.
Top comment. Yikes. Might I suggest some couples therapy first?
Hey.
What she did was clearly an asshole move, but I don't think what you did, I don't think you'd be in the right for moving her out while she's pregnant. And then somebody else said, LOL, what? Being pregnant doesn't guarantee you a relationship if you're being a terrible person. I think that has some merit too.
Mm-hmm.
That's where it's tough too, because on one side, I 100% agree, like, being pregnant doesn't absolve you from, like, still participating in a relationship and treating people with respect. But then you'll have people like the men's rights people who are like, well, why aren't we equal? Like, if a guy said stuff like that, everyone would say break up with break up with him because he's an asshole. But if because it's a woman who's pregnant, then you can. That's why I'm like, the men's rights have like a grain of truth. They just surround it by a bunch of crap.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm like, there is somewhat of a double standard in how, if this was a man, I think Reddit would be like, dump him. He's an asshole.
Set him on fire.
But the man doesn't have the pregnancy excuse, so that's the difference. But I'm like,
Mhm.
I feel like there is somewhat
Kill
of a
him.
different.
And the different chemicals. And
Yeah.
But I think, and I know we're supposed to move on to the next story, but I think this brings the topic of, I was basically going to say people show their true colors whenever they get married or they have a
Right.
baby. And I feel like maybe this is her being pregnant, but also like being pregnant doesn't mean you can be rude to your partner and like degrade their
Right.
cooking and kind of
Right.
like talk down to them. But
Yeah, because on that same note, if I was married to someone and I were having a kid and she like kind of changed a little bit and she got a little bit more rude, in my head I would want to be able to talk to her. I'm like, hey man, I don't like how you're acting. And if she came back to me like, well, I'm pregnant, so it's a thing, that would be like a red flag to me because I'm like, okay, so I'm telling you that I don't like this and you're just going to fall back on the excuses. This is what it's going to be like for the rest of our relationship. But even then I wouldn't be like, well, I got to kick you out. Like I'm going to be like, noted. And then like, we'll see in the future. I'm like, is this a progressive thing? Even though I think we're all raised in the same church where I'm like, I don't think you're stuck, but I do think you're stuck if you're married. So that's what I'm like, we might have a different perspective on like being married and having a kid together than other people are like, no, if it's bad, I'm getting out right then. I would still try to work on it. Unless it was like bad.
And I think the sucky part about Reddit stories is that you only get one side of the story. And so it's like, because I don't know, like something in me just says that this is not, like he really is shocked. Like this is a complete 180 from the girl before she was pregnant. So I'm like, I feel like you guys can work it out. Like, yeah, the situation's trash and what the heck, like this is all left field, but I don't know. But then at the same time, it's like, oh, then why is he like, the first thing he wants to do is kick her out? So I don't know.
I think to wrap the story up, I think definitely couples therapy. I think she needs to be working on herself. If she has those insecurities where she's like, will he flirt with another girl? That's in herself that she needs to work on, especially with the way that she treats him. And I think that he could also have some things where he can work on where he has some grace for his wife and, doesn't use such strong language being like, she's crazy.
Right.
Talking to his boys at a beer, bro, she's crazy.
Yeah.
She's pregnant, she's crazy.
She's a nut job.
She's a nut
You
job.
never call a girl crazy.
Right, because I'm just reading what he's saying. I'm like, excuse me? I'm not even his wife. If Brandon said that to me, I'd be like, there are some words where if Brandon said it to me, I'd be more upset. I'd be like, did you just call me that? That's crazy.
I didn't call you crazy. You're just
being crazy. I'm like, ooh.
I didn't call you. Like, that's it.
You're just acting crazy.
You're just acting like a complete crazy nut job. But I didn't call you that.
Have you seen Love is Blind?
I've only seen the first season.
You need to watch season 3. It's so bad.
Oh, really?
Toxic Men Alert. It's so good, though. I really want to have a podcast where we talk about it. It's so good.
Then we need to also have a podcast where we talk about Love After Lockup.
Okay.
Because that show is just changing my life.
I need to watch it.
All right. Next story. Am I the asshole for serving a pregnant woman a non-alcoholic cocktail? I have waited tables for the last 3 years. During my shift last night, a group of 4 women in their late 20s came in. They were a pleasure to have as customers. They ordered 4 of our house cocktails to start with, and they went over the menu for their entrees. When I was on my way back to their booth with the drinks on a tray, I walked by the back side and overheard one of them talking about how she was 14 weeks along. When I rounded back, they were talking about the same topic, and it was clear to me that she was pregnant. I figured her having one drink wasn't a big deal. They ordered their entrees, and I went off to handle other tables. About 5 minutes later, they called me over again and asked for another round. At this point, I started getting concerned, but I took the order and cheerfully said, I'd be right back. This time, I went to the bartender and I asked him to make one of them a virgin cocktail. He was confused but since he's a good friend of mine, I told him to just trust me. A few cocktails later, her strictly virgin, they started getting rowdy, and Mrs. Pregnant Woman was also getting into it. I figured that she didn't notice things were okay. The problem came when I took the bill and their check and they asked me to split the bill at the register. When Mrs. Pregnant got to the counter, I saw her cocktails were marked with a virgin. My bartender had edited each of them in the system for inventory. It was too late for me to edit them back, so I just had her pay, hoping that she wouldn't look at the receipt. They all thanked me and left, leaving a generous tip in the process. They were talking in the parking lot for a next short while, presumably waiting for an Uber. Several minutes later, Mrs. Pregnant Woman came back and asked me what virgin on the receipt meant. I fessed up and said that it meant non-alcoholic. She blank stared at me for a few seconds, then asked if she ordered a non-alcoholic cocktail. I said no, but told her that I assumed that she wanted one, seeing as she was pregnant. It was a lame lie, and I'll admit it, but she looked me in the eye and asked me to return her part of the tip. I did so. Then she talked to my manager. My manager took me into her office and literally shrieked at me until hoarse. I stood my ground and told her that I'm not going to be responsible for FAS. I think that's for fetal alcohol syndrome.
Yeah.
She told me that she was taking me off the calendar until she decided what to do with me. She also informed me that I could get the restaurant in serious trouble for discrimination, and upon examination of my state laws, she is correct. When I talked to my mother and father about this tonight, they told me that they understood my position. The entire waitstaff at the restaurant is against me, and I think I'm going to call in and tell my manager that I quit. But I still feel in the right here. I would like some perspective on this if I'm the asshole.
That's a great one.
Wow. I was not expecting it to go that way.
That's a good one. I feel like some of these stories we do are like pretty straightforward and easy.
This one's loaded.
Mm-hmm.
It's intricate.
Because on one side, there's the basically, which I've had in other stories, I'm like, mind your own business. Like, it's like the credit card thing, like this girl saying she took her dad's credit card. It's like the same thing, like, it's not really my business. This is her body, her kid. If she's going to be dumb enough and drink, it's not my responsibility to step in to do anything. But I also could see feeling guilty about contributing to that. So that's because technically if he never heard, or he or she, I don't know what it was, they never heard that they were pregnant, you would never know. They would just be serving drinks and not knowing that they're pregnant.
I don't know. I would say it's a tough situation because if I was a bartender and I heard that, I think I would be so shocked.
Yeah, what would
but I
you
would
do?
still probably do it.
Yeah.
And then I would talk about somebody and I'm like, because I feel like, I don't know, like you're saying, it's just like a thing of that's not any of my business. But I feel like I would be torn. But I also know that in the past, when stuff like that happens, I'm literally so shocked that I just go with the flow until it's over. And then I'm like, what just happened? So I'll be honest, I probably won't have the best. I probably won't be brave enough to do what she did.
No, I don't think I would either.
I think the other layer to the story is the fact that it's all in a business setting. So it's like the manager's completely correct too, because she's like, you are causing like a major offense against our business. Like that discrimination is like one of those things that can get you shut down. So it's like, whoa. But I think on the other side too, it's also bad because it's like companies don't protect your moral compass. So like the best thing that person could have done is just not serve the table or pass it to somebody else. Be like, there's a conflict of interest. I don't want to serve this table. So then it's still there, but the blood's not on your hands necessarily.
Okay, yeah, I take back what I said because I was thinking about it, and the only perspective, I've never seen somebody drink when they're like pregnant, but I have kind of been in situations where if I can think about somebody smoking while pregnant, it's not as, they're both bad for the baby. And I don't think I would be able to stand by and do it. But because when I even said I was like, I would still do it, I don't know what I would do.
I feel like I would.
I don't think I would. But I don't know if I would necessarily, I don't know what I would do. I think it would be wrong. I think it would make me upset. because even thinking about somebody smoking while pregnant makes me upset.
But that's the thing. Is it wrong? What makes it wrong? Like, we know it. We say it's wrong because of the effects it has on the baby.
Mm-hmm.
But we have no responsibility for that child. Because I think it even gets into the whole abortion thing. Like,
That's what I was gonna say.
people don't want people to have abortions because they think that from conception you're having a baby, so anything is murder, and that's why they're vehement. Like, no one should have an abortion. But then other people are like, well, it's not your business. Like, if they do that. But other people are like, no, I firmly believe this, and I think it's wrong. So I'm like, I think it's almost the same thing. It's like, where do you fall in like people's choices and people's responsibility over what you think is right or wrong?
Yeah, because when it comes to abortion, I'm like, I don't agree with it, but I don't want to take away somebody else's right to deal with with their own body. For me, like, I'm
And that's
where
how
I'm
I feel
like,
too,
would I
because I'm
say-
like, I would never want to be like, if I got someone pregnant, I wouldn't want to have them have an abortion, but I also don't want to be like, well, no one should get abortions because just because I
Exactly.
don't like them doesn't
Exactly.
mean that.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. Yeah. Wow.
I think that
Oh my gosh.
that whole abortion conversation, though, it gives another perspective to the story too, because it's like you don't know what she's gonna do with that baby. Just because she's 14 weeks doesn't mean she was planning to get rid of it. You know?
And I know nothing
Maybe
about
this is how
babies,
she was
but
gonna do
how
it.
long are you? That's 3 months in. I don't think you. How. I guess I shouldn't even be bringing up the question if I don't even know the answer. I was gonna say, how long do you have until you can have an abortion?
It depends where you live.
Yeah.
State by state, it's different.
I think here it's like 28 weeks.
Yeah, this is a tough one. It just it's pulling me both ways because
Yeah.
I stand more with Brandon, but then I hear your points and I'm like, I agree with those too.
Well, like what Brandon said, that's what I would like to do. I'd be like, I don't want to serve this table. But I like what I actually would do, I probably would just be like, because I'm wondering if I would even say anything. Like, maybe I would just say like, hey, you know there's alcohol in this, right?
Yeah.
And then that might be it.
Mm-hmm.
And then just let it fall to where it is.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm still always going to fall back and like, I just haven't overheard this. I could have not overheard this. I could have served pregnant people in the past, and I don't know it.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess it's different because you know it now. But I'm like, if I'm scared about the guilt of serving a pregnant person, who knows that I haven't done that in the past? And there's several babies out there with fetal alcohol syndrome because of me serving the drinks.
Mm-hmm. The top comment is, you had good intentions. She sucks for obvious reasons. You suck because you had no way to prove she was pregnant. You altered her drink without informing her, and you made a big decision without speaking to your manager. They deemed that she was the asshole on here.
Yeah, talking to the manager probably would have been good.
Yeah.
Get the responsibility off you. Be like, hey, I heard this. What do you want me to do?
Yeah.
That's what bosses are there for, to
take the blame.
Yeah.
All right, so let's get this last story going.
Man, that was a crazy one.
Yeah.
The title wasn't like jump out at you, and then the story was just like, whoa.
Because from the title, I thought it was like he thinks she's pregnant. He or she thinks she's pregnant because of how she looks.
Yeah, look at that fat girl. I'm gonna.
But yeah, no,
virgin.
From what he was saying, they were saying she was pregnant and she was drinking, and yep, wow. Am I the asshole for uninviting my future sister-in-law for my wedding after she told my fiance I was pregnant? I decided to keep my pregnancy to myself because I don't know what I'm going to do about it. I knew my fiance wasn't going to be happy with the news. My future sister-in-law / best friend is the only other person who knew, as I took the test at her suggestion and at her house. She also agreed that her brother was unlikely to be happy about it, but she felt like I should talk to him about it immediately anyway. We kept arguing over it because I told her I needed time to process it, and she felt like I was making excuses to avoid telling him. In the end, she told him herself while we were having dinner with their family. He was so upset that he confronted me in front of everybody, so now they all know and everybody is upset with me for keeping it from him. His sister kept trying to reach out and apologize after it happened, but I was ignoring her as her only excuse was that it was her brother, so she couldn't keep it from him, and that she gave me 3 weeks to tell him myself. The last time she called me, I was so upset that I answered and yelled at her. In the heat of the moment, I uninvited her from the wedding and told her I would find a new bridesmaid. I've given my fiance and his family another reason to be upset with me, but I refuse to let her come to the wedding, even as a regular guest, despite them asking me to, and it being important for her to attend. Am I the asshole?
I feel like everyone sucks here.
Brandon always says that.
Well, thanks for coming to the... Wow.
Obviously the bridesmaid sucks because it's not your business to tell. Don't tell
The
it.
best friend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But at the same time too, I get it because it's like, that's family. What the heck? I'm not gonna. Well, I mean, unless they straight up ask for it, don't lie. But like, I don't know. But then at the same time too, why is a husband like that upset that he yells at her? Like, if y'all did what y'all needed to do to make her pregnant,
You guys are getting
be
married
okay
anyway.
be
Yeah.
okay with the consequences, and you're going to get married anyway. What's the problem? So yeah, he sucks too, but then she sucks because she held it for so long. Like, that's a big announcement, and she said 3 weeks.
She said that she gave her 3 weeks to think about it, to tell him, or she was going to do it herself.
Yeah, I feel like
3 weeks is way too long.
3 weeks is way too long for that type of announcement.
You think so?
Yes.
Hmm.
Especially if you guys are supposed to be doing life together. So it's like, how are you able to hold the secret for 3 weeks?
Why?
And just, I mean, then again too, we don't know the full scenario because we don't know if he's like asking like, yo, you good? Like, you been you're late and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, but yeah, no, they all suck, in my opinion.
Yeah, I feel like the reactions suck. And I actually think she is more the asshole. Like, I think she's an asshole for not telling her fiance or taking so long to tell her fiance. And I think she's an asshole for uninviting the
That
friend.
too.
Also, I think she's an asshole for don't be best friends with your significant other's sibling. I don't think that's a good thing. I don't think you should do that.
Why?
You should even, I don't know. I don't like that for some reason. Now you're in this situation where you're best friends with their sibling. Of course there's going to be a conflict of interest of anything. I don't want to have my best friend also have a close connection with my significant other. That's not even a real, that's a thing that I just feel for me.
I get it.
Well, there's an example that we have seen where it was, or I have seen like a best friend date her best friend's brother.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And it does get weird.
Yeah.
And it does get uncomfortable. But I wonder if it was like, she's like, oh my God, like I just love hanging out with your sister and like we're just like becoming like best friends. Or if it was like they were friends first.
Actually, yeah, I'm curious about that too.
Yeah.
What were they friends before or was it after?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting. But don't do it. You can hang out, but don't do not get your pregnancy test at the sister's house. That's crazy.
Yeah.
But I'm also where I'm like, I think it comes down to when women are like, I need time to think about it myself. I'm like, I completely for women's right to choose. Like, it's your body at the end of the day. Like, you have the ultimate decision. But I'm like, I still think it should be talked about between both people. Like, that conversation still needs to be had no matter what the decision ultimately begins to. I'm like, we still both did this. Like, you wouldn't have been having a baby without me. So you should tell me, especially since we're getting married.
Mm-hmm.
So, even if you were boyfriend and girlfriend, I still think it should happen. But I'm like, you're getting married and just like I'm like, you can't have this conversation?
Yeah.
3 weeks is a long time, I guess.
Way too
But
long.
I can see where you guys are coming from, where they are all like, everybody sucks. I don't get why his reaction, why he would be unhappy if his future
he
wife
should've
is
waited.
going to be pregnant.
Yeah. Don't do that in front of your
Hey,
family.
whore.
Yeah.
Stop having sex with me.
With me.
With me.
You're disgusting. Wait until after the
Plot twist.
You're having a baby with me?
It's not his.
Who's the dad? Oh, it's me?
Dude.
That
What
would
if
be-
that's true?
Plot twist is not his.
Oh.
What
oh
if
my
she,
God.
that's why she's like, I don't know what to tell this dude. Because that's why he got mad. He's like, we've never had sex. You said we were waiting till marriage.
You said only above the
She
clothing.
cuts that part completely out of the story. Like the fact, oh yeah, we never had sex, so it's not.
But then why is his sister so intrusive? the sister has to know that something's going down if she's so intrusive of like, girl, you're late. You need to go take a pregnancy test.
Do you talk about? I'm not a woman. Do you talk about your menstrual cycles with your friends?
Yeah.
It could just come up in conversation.
It does actually just come up in conversation because it's like, oh my God, like, girl, my cramps are crazy.
I'm 8 weeks late. I'm 8 months late, and my stomach is huge. What is going on?
People have told me stuff like that before.
You might be pregnant.
I think you might be pregnant.
You should take a test.
Yeah. You would be surprised that actually does. I've had people talk to me about how they're that late before. Yes, and they're worried.
I went to the bathroom, a baby popped out. I'm like, what is happening?
Should I
go somewhere? Where does this baby come from? I get freaked out by all those people having babies, just like in the toilet. I'm like, what are you doing? Oh,
yeah, you're just at your house. You're like, my back hurts so bad. My back hurts so bad.
My belly's always rumbling. It's like kicking inside of me.
I have crazy cravings.
This food baby is actually
just for 9 months. You just don't know what's happening.
I don't get that. Yeah.
You're like, I feel weird.
You're literally waddling.
Yeah.
I think the top comment, though, kind of brings it back to my question is, please explain why y'all are getting married and you can't even tell him you're pregnant.
True.
And that's the pregnancy episode. So why did we have it? I don't know.
Because Maddie's pregnant and I've been saying
no,
it for
I'm
a
not.
while.
Okay?
Okay.
No, I'm not.
That's fine.
Anyway, thanks for coming to the Comfort Level Podcast. We'll see you guys next week.
No.